space. What is the impact of that? We decode that for you. Next story that we're getting for you on the show, which is Netanyahu's final push to enter Gaza City. Will that be successful? Will he be able to flush out Hamas and get the hostages? We tell you more on that. And lastly, the third key story on the show, India-Russia drills. India joins the military exercise, Zapad, which happened after 4 years. It's a small contingent of Indian soldiers, but the impact in messaging is big. We tell you more on that. But first up, let's get you the big story and the first conflict that we are decoding for you on Fault Lines. Well, as far as what's happening right now in Russia-Ukraine conflict is concerned, well, there are these drones that Russia, in fact, put out inside Ukrainian and Romanian territory, so much that they had to come out with and scramble their jets in response. Now, what really happened here, viewers? What happened was there is a war, Russia-Ukraine conflict, that's been going on for 3.5 years. Now, in the midst of this, there have been 4 attempts by Russia to enter into the Polish airspace and the Romanian airspace. And this happened yet again. And yet again, you had the Polish and Romanian aircrafts being scrambled. What is the message it sends? What is the larger meaning of this? And more importantly, the larger question that I'm putting out, which is that are the NATO red lines now being breached by Russia, and can it actually go ahead and do so? That's the larger message here. What is it that we are talking about? We're talking about airspace of 2 countries being breached by Russia, and the larger message it leaves out. Let's put that out for you here. In terms of, let's go back to the previous one, which is Poland scrambles jets near the airspace near the border. This happened first for Romania, then for Poland. Next up, now how many of these incursions have happened? There have been 11 such incursions that have happened since 2022 when the Russia-Ukraine conflict actually started. So Vladimir Putin is sending out a message here, and that's the message we are decoding for you here, viewers, which is that I can enter your territory and I can do it multiple times when I enter your airspace. And what is it that NATO is going to do? Is it Putin baiting NATO? Is NATO looking at a coordinated response? Remember, if NATO does look at a coordinated response, the conflict becomes that much bigger. The war zone is not limited just to Ukraine. It becomes much bigger than that, and which is what we are decoding right here. Now, the Eastern Sentry is now fully active as far as NATO is concerned. Several other fighter supports have come in, which is from UK, France and Denmark as well. But the other important bit, which is that first NATO-Russian drone kill confirmed last week. So the warfare, as we know right now, viewers, is about drones. This is not Russia entering by sending its own aircrafts inside these territories. It has upped its game. It's now sending via drones. There are these swarm of drones that come in from the Russian side and enter the territory, the airspace of several of these other countries, and which is why they are responding by scrambling jets. This isn't the first, and these details tell you how many times it has happened, but more importantly, what lies ahead is the larger point. This comes in the backdrop of many efforts being made to try and ensure that is there a political solution to the conflict. If not, this is what happens again and again. Drone debris found in 30 places and 30 times as far as Romania is concerned, and NATO has said that we will defend every inch of this. Now, what really has happened? Let's play out this report that tells you more.
Let's take you straight to Eastern Europe. Here's a look at where the airspace violations occurred, right along the Poland-Ukraine and Romania-Ukraine borders. It's a pattern NATO hoped wouldn't repeat, but this weekend it did. Romania confirms another Russian drone violated its airspace near Chelyabinsk, flying roughly 20 kilometers deep before vanishing from radar. Fighter jets were scrambled, but again, no shoot down, no debris found. Further north, Poland responded in real time, dispatching jets as Russian drones hovered near its borders. The Polish PM called it the highest state of readiness. In response, NATO is ramping up. Operation Eastern Sentry is now active. Jets from the UK, France, Germany and Denmark are reinforcing airspace from the Baltics to the Black Sea. British Typhoons, French Rafales and Danish F-16s are ready in position or en route.
They'll be part of a NATO air mission alongside the Germans, the Danes, the French, and it reinforces NATO's eastern flank in the face of Putin's actions. And the message to Moscow is clear. Putin tested NATO, NATO responded with unity, and the UK will play our full part. When we are threatened, we respond together.
Since February 2022, drone debris has fallen on Romanian soil over 30 times, and Poland has now engaged incoming drones, destroying 3 last week. It marks the first confirmed NATO takedown of Russian drones in Allied airspace. But the bigger question lingers, can Russia strike NATO, and will it?
What this shows is that we will defend every inch of NATO territory, every inch of Allied territory, all 32 allies.
Meanwhile, Moscow continues to accuse Ukraine and its European allies of propagating anti-Russia hysteria. Across the border, Ukrainian officials allege these drone incursions are not random but well calculated. Small steps, they say, meant to test NATO's red lines. The fear that one misstep leads to a full-scale confrontation. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
Well, viewers, as far as this conflict is concerned, this has been going on for 3.5 years. This is yet another effort, an attempt by Russia to test the combined ability of NATO to respond to its provocative gestures. If they do, if they escalate, this war is not ending anytime soon. If they don't, then it seems that the NATO superiority, the NATO air superiority, gets challenged again and again by Russia. It's a catch-22 situation. It also comes at a time when multiple peace efforts are being made and not succeeding. As things stand right now, there is a complete deadlock as far as those peace talks are concerned. They aren't moving ahead. There's nothing in it for Vladimir Putin to in fact come even on the table. These provocative gestures are meant to send out 2 messages. One, that not only are those peace talks not working, it's not in Russia's interest to entertain any of those possibilities as things right now. And the second message that is actually sending, it is to Ukraine, it is to NATO, that how much is Russia willing to test the possibility of a combined NATO response. Any response will lead to a chain of events that will only take this conflict farther and farther away from any possibility of peace, which is why this warfare is testing new limits, new patience, and touching new aspects as far as this conflict is concerned. All right, let's get you the other big story that we are tracking on the show. This week on Fault Lines, we come back and talk more about, well, Gaza. It is in focus where Netanyahu's final effort is underway. There is now a ground assault which has begun from the Israeli side into the Gaza city. This has been much anticipated. This has been in the works for some time now. But what lies ahead? Now, Israel has to do 2 things. It has to go deep inside Hamas territory and at the same time ensure that hostages are protected. Let's not forget that as far as the entire deep tunnel network that Hamas has, all of that still remains. None of that has actually been devastated, damaged as far as Israel's pounding of Gaza is concerned. So that deep tunnel network remains, even as Gaza city is now going to be under major ground assault because Israel feels this is the only way it can get those hostages back. Can it? Remains to be seen. But let's first play out this report that tells you how significant this assault is, the scale at which Israel is looking to do this, and how long can it potentially continue this without threatening the lives of hostages, which frankly they are standing by and holding on to a threat as far as life is concerned. Let's play out this report.
It's been called Netanyahu's final push. A sweeping ground assault into the heart of Gaza City is now in full motion. Footage shows Israeli tanks and bulldozers entering Sheikh Radwan. This is Israel's most extensive ground push in Gaza since the war began. The IDF says it's targeting Hamas's last military stronghold and aiming to bring the remaining hostages home. But at what cost? The Gaza Health Ministry reports 65,062 dead. Humanitarian workers speak of a slow-moving famine with over 430 confirmed starvation deaths, nearly a third of them children. Displacement is near total, with 9 in 10 Gazans fleeing south, many on foot. And as tanks push forward, the pressure back home on Netanyahu is erupting. Just outside the Prime Minister's Jerusalem residence, families of the remaining hostages have built an encampment. They say Netanyahu's war gamble is risking their loved ones' lives and Israel's soul.
התחננתי, התחנפתי, הייתי ממלכתית, הייתי תוקפנית, התפללתי, וכך נלחמות כל המשפחות. ואיפה הממשלה הזאת?
Across the Mediterranean, Europe is moving to freeze Israel's trade privileges. The EU accuses Israel of violating core human rights clauses in their trade deal, citing mass civilian deaths and aid blockades. Netanyahu's warning, if isolated by Europe, Israel may have to become what he calls a super Sparta, self-reliant, militarized, and ready to stand alone.
ואנחנו עושים מאמצים כרגע לפתוח צירים נוספים כדי לאפשר פינוי מהיר יותר של האוכלוסייה העזתית, להפריד אותה מהטרוריסטים שאותם אנחנו רוצים לתקוף.
The IDF claims progress, but underground, 48 hostages still remain. And for their families, time is running out. Netanyahu says this is the final push to defeat Hamas. But whether it ends the war or drags the region into deeper chaos may depend on what happens in Gaza City in the coming days. Bureau Report, NDTV World.
All right, so now you know, viewers, that there is this final assault, the ground assault that Israel has launched into Gaza City. This is essentially something that's been in the works for some time now. Let's put out some of those numbers for you to understand what's at the scale at which this is happening. This has gone weeks and weeks of preparation has gone into it. Benjamin Netanyahu announced this about almost 2 months back. So there's been a lot of preparation that has gone into it. First and foremost, it has actually stormed deep inside Gaza City, even as the toll is rising and the offensive is intensifying. Now, as far as the toll is concerned, it's very important to tell you, viewers, that these are numbers that are coming in from the Gaza side. These are numbers coming in from the Palestinian authorities. These are not independent figures. That's very important for you to understand that, yes, there is human toll that is taking place, but some of those numbers need to be factored in when you make an objective assessment. Next up, hostage families have accused Netanyahu of betrayal. This is at the heart of the entire issue right now, that when you move deep inside Gaza City, you are actually challenging Hamas in its stronghold, where the deep tunnel network actually exists, and which is where the hostages are also there. So Hamas has actually said that if there is going to be any effort by the IDF to take those hostages by force, they will all be shot dead. They will all be killed, which is why the hostage families are protesting outside Netanyahu's residence, saying that anyway, we have limited options, and even those are going to be ruled out the moment you try and take those hostages by force. Donald Trump has also weighed in on it. I'm going to tell you that in just a bit. But let's tell you what exactly EU has said. EU has moved to sanction Israel over Gaza. This is something that there's been a lot of international condemnation that has grown because the moment Israel has gone deep inside Gaza city, a lot of Gazans have actually fled. They have limited options. There is only that single corridor, and even aid is now fast disappearing, which is why condemnations are piling up. Let's get ahead in terms of what Netanyahu is saying. Well, super Sparta isolation is what Benjamin Netanyahu is saying. Again, a man who has very limited options. It's going to be 2 years since this conflict, viewers, and some of those hostages haven't seen sunlight for 2 years. They are trapped in those tunnels, and this may be the option that the Israeli forces have. But is this the best one as far as hostages are concerned? That's something we're going to put out to our Israeli guest who's going to join me in just a second. Those are Gaza death toll figures. And as I said, something that needs to be factored in when you take an objective assessment. Lastly, famine in Gaza, 432 is the number that's been put out. Some of these are UN numbers, some of these are numbers that have come in from the Palestinian authorities. Either way, what we are looking at is a huge human catastrophe that has unfolded in Gaza, even as military options that Israel has on the table are very limited. And let's get that detail from Benny Benjamin, who's joining me for more on this. Mr. Benjamin, thanks so much for speaking to me on Fault Lines. Let me start by asking you, sir, as things stand right now, what do you make of the ground assault? It's the final push, so to say, from the Israeli side to get the hostages back. How are you expecting this to play out?
The public opinion is divided into two. Today, some people, they say, okay, we must go in Gaza and take out our hostages back. There are some people who are thinking about that if the army will go in, the hostages will be killed. I'm with the opinion that they were supposed to negotiate and bring the hostages back. There is a negotiation going on in London, what I know as per the news, that they will sit on the table and discuss about the hostages. And I think to believe them, they will release 1 or 2 hostages to show that there is a way to do it. So I wish that will come in today or tomorrow itself, so that we will know that the negotiation will happen and we will stop the war. My opinion is that we had enough war. We must finish the war as soon as possible, because casualties are in both sides. Our soldiers have been killed. Our people have been worried, and we are getting still. Houthis are giving us a lot of missiles throughout the week. So it's very bad and very uncomfortable situation that we have. As per my opinion, also the European countries are taking part in this. And I believe that if they were not supporting so much the Palestinians, I'm not talking about Palestinians from the West Bank, I'm talking about the Palestinians from Gaza, where they are supporting completely, because these are the terrorists, people who came in Israel. We have not started the war. We were giving them everything, water, electricity, everything. So I don't think that we had made any mistake. But the biggest mistake is today that they are supporting and they are sanctioning
Mr. Benjamin,
Israel.
I understand you're making that political point, but I want to come to the assault per se. This comes at a time when most of the Hamas deep tunnel network is still intact. So the IDF is going deep inside Hamas territory, and many say risking the lives of hostages who are anyway holding on to life with just a thread right now.
I don't like to call them even Hamas today, because they are the guerrillas of this area. To fight guerrillas, any army, if it is a big army like India or a big army like US or big army like Russia, nobody can fight guerrillas. Guerrillas is one of the worst things to fight out. And I think this is the point where Israeli army was supposed to think that, okay, there are guerrillas, we can fight, we can do it in one day. But the problem is there is a lot of population there, Palestinian population, also the Israeli hostages, and we are not free to go in and fight as we want. So I think better to stop the war.
Okay, that's one note to end this on. Penny, we're going to keep speaking, and I'm going to come back to you, because this is a ground assault that the world is watching, and we in India are also keeping a very close watch on. Thanks much for joining me on Fault Lines this week. In fact, viewers, on that note, slipping into a very short break on Fault Lines, come back on the other side and we talk about Zapad 2025, India's key contingent that joined these Russian drills, these war drills, the larger message to Donald Trump and the Western world. We come back and talk more on that. Stay with us.
Time to go to sleep now.
I can't sleep without Bunny.
Where is Bunny?
Downstairs with Grandma.
Is he? I'll better go and get him then, hadn't I?
For 50 years, Stana has been helping people continue to enjoy life upstairs. And with stair lifts fitted in less than a day, you can carry on just as normal.
But Bunny can't sleep without Teddy.
Contact Stana now. Stana, enjoy the life upstairs.
Unexpected expense? Drafty's got your back. Borrowing £100 for a month costs less than £6. Apply at drafty.co.uk.
Vista Health means fast access to scans. Vista Health means rapid results. Vista Health means convenient locations. Vista Health means affordable pricing. At Vista Health, we know what your health means to you. And that's why we provide fast access to MRI, ultrasound, echocardiogram and other health scans, without the need for a referral or medical insurance. Get the answers you need. Book your scan today at vistahealth.co.uk.
You need to know the truth about the abuse the world's donkeys are suffering. It's suffering that's often hidden from view in cramped, filthy pens, where they endure lives filled with fear and pain. Pain that cuts deep and wounds right to their very hearts. It's shocking to even think it, but right now, so many of the world's donkeys are being poisoned by plastics or being worked to exhaustion. And the truth is, to some, these innocent animals are worth more dead than alive. We can't leave them to suffer like this. Please, will you join us in the fight to protect our precious donkeys? You can by calling 0800 035 9309 and giving £2 a month to the Donkey Sanctuary. When you do, you will help us rescue and care for donkeys here in the UK and defend them from cruelty all around the world. We are working tirelessly to create a better world for donkeys, but we can only do it with your help. So please call 0800 035 9309, text TRUTH6 to 78866, or search Donkey Truth to give £2 a month to the Donkey Sanctuary. Because the world's donkeys need you to protect them right now.
Yes, I've won £1,000! Play bingo at Tombola for free! There's £100,000 to be won throughout September. Open for fun.
The other story on fault lines this week, India's message in terms of its reasons to join Zapad 2025. India's military footprint in the entire exercise may not be that significant, but the messaging is so. In fact, in a drill designed to test NATO's nerves, New Delhi is placing itself squarely in the grey zone. Not with the West, not against it, but somewhere far more consequential. Let's tell you all the details and get you all the numbers as far as the Zapad 2025 military drill exercise is concerned, and why this is going to be extremely significant in terms of India's messaging to the world. Let's put out some of those numbers, viewers, right here for you. First and foremost, 100,000 troops have been mobilized across Russian borders. This was higher the last time the exercise was done, but since then Russia is engaged in a conflict, a real conflict, and which is why that some of the numbers are lower than what it was the last time around. Next up, India has sent 65 troops to join, and these are from across the three services. Army, Navy and air units are part of this contingent. Zapad means West, which is, well, the symbolic messaging is absolutely clear. And there's a reason why India feels that now is the time to be part of this. Last time this was held in 2021 when the numbers was much higher. It was double, 2 lakh troops. As I said, this time Russia is engaged in a conflict right now, which has gone on for 3.5 years, which is why some of those numbers are lower. It happens once in 4 years. It started in 1999, and there are several other countries as well. But besides Russia, besides Belarus, the only other most significant country in that is India. This war drills that are planned out here, they simulate war with West, and which is why it is so significant. NATO tactics, drone warfare and coordination all are in focus as far as these drills are concerned. The larger message this sends out to US. Remember, this comes just weeks after India's positioning when at the SCO at Tianjin, where there was Vladimir Putin, Prime Minister Modi and President Xi. Just after that, these military drills have a very, very strong, important messaging. It's loud and clear and being heard in Oval Office. Let's play out this report that tells you all the details as far as these military drills are concerned.
That's the sound of 100,000 troops ready to go. Russia's largest military exercise since the Ukraine invasion. Zapad 2025 across Belarus, the Russian heartland, and into the Arctic seas has just concluded. 100,000 troops, hypersonic missiles, nuclear-capable bombers, and coordinated ground-sea-air maneuvers. It's Kremlin's version of part flex, part war rehearsal. But away from the headlines and the hypersonics is a subtle shift. India, with just 65 troops on the ground, is making a strategic statement. One that matters far more than numbers. Deployed at the Molino training ground, Indian forces are taking part in tactical drills and weapons trainings with Russian units. This even as NATO watches closely from just across the border. While Moscow and Minsk dominate the choreography, India's quiet involvement complicates the geopolitical calculus. These are South Bloc's calibrated moves in an era where no alliance is permanent. The Zapad drills, held every 4 years since 2009, peaked at 200,000 troops in 2021. This year's edition is smaller but more politically charged, as drones breach NATO airspace and troops build-ups mirror Cold War patterns. India's choice to participate isn't about siding with Russia, it's about preserving optionality. It's a hedge, one often mistaken for a handshake by the gullible. A move that keeps its leverage intact whether the next flashpoint lies in Eastern Europe or the Indo-Pacific. With growing global clout, New Delhi is shaping the parameters of power politics. It's a measured and intentional signal built for long-term impact in a world where allegiances are increasingly transactional. Bureau Report, NDTV.
Well, with that, we wrap things up on this edition of Fault Lines. Thanks so much for watching. See you next week when we decode yet another conflict, yet another war zone, yet another fault line.
I like making sure I've got all the right tools for the job. And now that I'm 50, that means looking after the life I've built, protecting my lot if anything happened to me. That's why I decided to learn more about over 50s life insurance from Cover Today. They're the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period, unlike other insurers who could make you wait up to 2 years for full cover. With Cover Today, you're fully covered from day one. And you're covered for the whole of your life. Plus, unlike other things in life, the price never goes up. Learning more couldn't be simpler. Go online or talk to their friendly UK team in just one phone call.
Cover Today are the only over 50s life insurer with no waiting period and no annoying trips to the doctors either. Plus, you get your choice of a £125 gift card.
Cover Today has given me genuine peace of mind. And now that's done, I can get on with something much more interesting.
To find out more about Cover Today, call our friendly UK team on 0808 143 4733 or visit covertoday.co.uk.
Discover the finest quality made-to-measure blinds, shutters and curtains at Blinds Direct. A huge selection of beautiful window dressings to suit every room. Handmade here in the UK with a 5-year guarantee for your peace of mind. Order your free samples today and choose your perfect design. Exclusively online, delivered direct to your door. Shop now for an extra 20% off and free delivery at blindsdirect.co.uk.
Mum created something that was pretty phenomenal. Now we can share these amazing creations with the world.
We are Yorkchans chili oil.
And we're powered by Shopify.
Sometimes it's the little things that remind us of them. Stay close, even when you're far apart. Send money worldwide with Remitly.
Here's a nice slice off the price. Save more than a whopping 35% on your pizza fakeaway at Aldi. It's scanner time.